Entertalk Radio. You're in to all things music.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. And I am Scott, your host, and a man who is still waiting for the aftershocks following that fairly substantial 5.0 earthquake yesterday up in the LA area off the coast. With me, as always, in the booth is one of the guys there. Cedric the Mixer is with us today. Cedric, how you doing, my man?
Can't complain, Everything's great. Brands
awesome,
still suck, There's someone always losing.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Did you guys feel? No, you guys didn't feel any of the earthquake, obviously, down in the greater La Jolla, Miramar Air Force Base range yesterday, I'm guessing.
I didn't feel it, but according to my super qualified news source, Facebook,
yes,
it was around. I personally didn't feel it.
Exactly. Yeah, it happened yesterday, and I didn't feel it down in Orange County either. But anyway, always kind of interesting to when that sort of thing happens. Well, we are here on the big show, and a little bit about me first. First of all, I am a marketing communications professional, got about 30 years experience, and I run a company called Robertson Communications. If you want to reach me, the best way to do it is catch me at scott@robertsoncom.com or on the website, robertsoncom.com, 2 M's like communications, and any social network you can name. We're in there probably. Just search Robertson Com or my name and you'll find it. So we're out there on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. And, of course, we are streaming live on the Periscope. What's up, people on Periscope? How you doing out there? Which you can find at Robertson.com right off my Twitter as well. So, yay. In case you want to see a 47-year-old guy with headphones on talking into a microphone, very exciting stuff. It's riveting. But today's going to be a fun show. This is episode 83 of The Big Show, and I call this episode The Really Dumb Things That Companies Say. I mean, let's face it, people. There's a whole lot of stupid in this world. Much more than we can address on this or any hour-long show. But we're going to try to address the topic of why in God's name did you say that? And we're going to provide some educational tips on how your company or brand can really stay firmly planted on the we didn't say anything stupid this week side of communications and do it on a regular basis too. It's actually easier than you think. And of course, we'll dig into who's winning and losing, as is our custom on this show, which, another Grammy Award winning episode of the podcast here on Entertalk Media. Very excited about it. So dig in. Let's talk about some dumb things. First of all, I've got 3 basic categories of dumb things that companies say. One of them's called way out on a limb for no reason. And we're going to talk about some examples of being way out on a limb and no reason to be there. 2, I just call gobbledygook. Just stuff that you're putting out there that no one understands, including probably yourself. And 3, I put in the category of sorry, not sorry. And this is just the increasingly popular practice of making a statement that turns into an apology for something stupid the company did. And we're going to talk about all these things and dig into them a bit here in this first segment. First of all, I want to start on way out on a limb for no reason. Occasionally, organizations, especially through social media and their social media channels, they say things and you're just like, I have no idea why you're saying this in the first place. I have no idea how this relates to you or what you're doing. And let's take an example right from the headlines. Planned Parenthood, an organization that already, let's face it, that has a few PR problems of its own. Their Pennsylvania branch very recently tweeted, we need a Disney princess who's had an abortion. That's what they wrote on Twitter. We need a Disney princess who's pro-choice, a Disney princess who's had an abortion. Okay, so I mean that's a lot of stupid. There's a lot of stupid in that sentence, right? And just because you think it, or you think it's clever, or it, got to laugh at a cocktail party with you personally, and you work for Planned Parenthood, there's a huge difference between that level of, maybe somebody laughed at it or thought you were witty or whatever else, and then putting it out and speaking on behalf of an organization. And make no mistake that when you are in charge of a social account for the organization, the public makes no distinction between that and the CEO speaking in front of a press conference at a shareholders meeting or at the press conference. You're both speaking on behalf of the company, and it's important that you know that there's a lot of responsibility to it, and so we need let's look at this for a second. We need a Disney princess who's had an abortion is an incredibly dumb thing to say for a lot of different reasons. One of the biggest reasons is that you first of all you automatically have poked Disney by invoking their trademark. They saw it, and now they have to respond to it. And of course, their response is going to be that was completely inappropriate. These people are idiots, and then they'll maybe knowing Disney, they'll put it to music and sing a song about how stupid you are. But that. There's no reason. There's no reason for that comment. There's no reason for that. In communications, we kind of weigh the upside and we weigh the upside versus the downside. That's a situation where there's all downside. There's all downside. You didn't win any fans. You ticked off everybody. You encroached on a very sacred brand with a lot of people, and you opened yourself up to a ridiculous amount of criticism. Not just this show criticizing your marketing communications, but people you just open yourself up for all kinds of stuff. And, and a lot of people said, well, it was just one branch and it doesn't really speak for the organization. The hell it doesn't. When so every news story that I saw on this, and believe me, it was substantial. Every one of them was negative, by the way. Every one that I saw said Planned Parenthood made this statement. They didn't say the Pennsylvania branch of Planned Parenthood said. They said Planned Parenthood made this statement, right? And then some of them had Disney princesses, and in the pictures, and with gasping looks on their face and stuff, and journalists are gonna, if you say dumb things, journalists can go off on you. That's how the game works. So don't is what I would say. There are a lot of examples of people out on a limb for no reason. And just, I know this isn't the tips part of the show, but learn how to, and I say this to the organizations out there, as Planned Parenthood, I'm speaking directly to you. Before you say it, weigh the downside of saying it. Weigh the upside of saying it. Before we speak as an organization, we do this little thing called thinking, and we think about the downside versus the potential upside. If there's potential upside, right? It's going to help us, do something. There's a goal in mind. We feel like it's going to do something. Then by all means. But you always want to think about that downside and don't get caught out on a limb for no reason. If you're the Pennsylvania branch of this organization, you brought a PR firestorm to this organization for no reason, with no upside. Nobody thought this was funny. Nobody thought this was funny. Nobody thought it was clever. Everybody thought it was offensive. And it just kind of those people that already hate you, it just gave them another bullet in the gun to hate you more. And the people that were moderate about you were like, man, that was really dumb. It gave them an opportunity to rethink their feelings about your organization. So don't, is what I would say. And don't go out on a limb for no reason. Very important. Next one I want to put in the category of gobbledygook. I work in technology, marketing, and public relations. And as my career evolved and I came up in through the ranks of technology, a lot of the communication starts with engineers, right? And they do speak a different language than the rest of us. And, sometimes if there's not an intermediary between them and the public, they'll sort of inflict all that jargon and that stuff on us. And that's not good. But occasionally you get like a press release. Like there's one that just came out this week in the music industry. Future Publishing just acquired the U.S. content business for New Bay Media. And that's guitar player, bass player, Guitar World, electronic musician. All those titles are now under Future. Great. We could talk all day about, the merger and everything else. Here's what I want to say. The press release is horrifically bad. It's so bad because let me allow you to judge for yourself. Again, this is in our second category of dumb things that companies say that we'll call gobbledygook that doesn't make any damn sense to anybody. So the CEO of Future said, New Bay is clearly aligned with Future in its mission to create content that connects with marketing leading titles. This acquisition supports our strategy of growth organically and through acquisition, global expansion, and revenue diversification. We have a proven track record of acquisition and successful integration. The deal will be earnings enhancing and drive further organic growth in revenue and profitability in the first full year. Man, I mean, if I could make the audio sound for bullshit, I would do it right here and now because that's what that is. And then Steve Palm, comes in and has a comment in a press release that says, get ready, get your shovel ready. The New Bay's team expertise in engaging business decision makers and providing solutions to sellers around the globe through events, digital content, and marketing services complements Future's capabilities, creating a unique platform and exciting growth trajectory. This combination will result in new and better opportunities for both New Bay and Future partners to expand reach and depth of customer interactions throughout the buyer's journey. Delivering data-driven brand and product awareness, thought leadership, and demand for our partners will only be enhanced. Come on, people. I defy you to tell me what that string of crap actually says. Here, speak in terms that people understand. Don't just put sentences together and a bunch of words with solutions and contents and complements, capabilities, and exciting growth trajectory. Bullshit. That is bullshit. Don't put that in your press releases. Okay? I'm a PR person and I'm calling bullshit on that. Come on. That's awful. That is awful, awful, awful. You took the time to put this press release out, to put this over the wire, to have, to engage journalists, and that's the comments that you're going to give people? No wonder no one trusts what we say. They can't understand it, first of all. Don't do things that are in gobbledygook kind of terms. What you should have said was the fact that, by the way, the word magazine doesn't appear in any of these. In entire press release, the word magazine doesn't appear. And yet, our understanding of all those things, what did I say when I introduced what the deal was? They bought a bunch of magazines, right? Oh, they bought a bunch of magazines. Great, I understand. Okay, great, beautiful. Yeah. I didn't use growth trajectory and stop it. Just for the love of God, just stop it. All right? Examine your communications. If they don't make sense to you or to someone that you know, stop it. Write something that does make sense. It doesn't have to sound like, an important press release. It just has to be, the communication model is sender, receiver, an arrow going between them, right? It's simple. There's no communication happening in this piece of communications. There's no communication. That's what happens when you get caught up in the gobbledygook, people. That's what happens. Don't do that. The third category I want to talk about is what I like to call sorry, not sorry. And man, there are some examples. So obviously, organizations have to apologize. It seems like more than ever these days. But, some of the dumbest things that companies say to me come in the form of these apologies. United Airlines, United Airlines had a famously bad apology streak there when they dragged the doctor off and bloodied him up and all that. I did a whole show on that, but that's a great example of an extremely bad apology, an apology that changed, because at first they were in support of the law enforcement that dragged him off, and then the second time they were cheering on the employees and this kind of thing, and the customer was wrong. And then it was all about and when the customer sued him, it was all about the customer, and we're really sorry and this kind of thing. Run your apologies through does this make us sound even dumber than we already are filter. Okay. Chipotle, just a classic star of this show, for the many, many, many food poisoning incidents that have happened for the company. Every single time they've sort of apologized for it, but they didn't really know what was causing it. And so they were like, yeah, we're sorry that happened, but they never had any kind of reassurance that it wasn't going to happen again. And thus it happened many more times. Wells Fargo, another great example of a lot of corporate speak, a lot of BS, a lot of covering up, a lot of just flat out lying to people. If you're not sorry, don't say you're sorry. Be sorry. Definitely be sorry. But if you're not sorry, then don't pretend like you are, because the world's just too transparent for that. Gibson Guitar recently too, Henry and Juskowitz basically saying, blaming the customer and saying, oh, well, we'd be doing fine if it wasn't for the purist who didn't want all of our new products and those kind of things. They just want our old products. It's like, well, who gives a crap? If they want your old products, then, it's time to ramp up. Good news, arts and crafts time. We're going to double it by, we're going to double this factory's output by about 50%, because that's what the customer wants. That's called marketing, kids, right there. Listening, responding, that's called marketing. That whole process. That's what that looks like when you do it in the real world. And blaming the customer for those kind of things is never going to work for you, because the customer is the one who keeps you in business. So in the context of, if you find yourself having to apologize for something the company did, what does an apology need to have? You need to legitimately be sorry. You need to legitimately express that, and you need to do it in a clear way. And we're talking about the really dumb things that companies say right here on May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media. Come on back. We're going to talk about who's winning and who is losing. See you in a few.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. It's Friday, and you are in the best place you could possibly be, listening to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. And I am Scott, your host. With me in the booth, making it all broadcast out to space and whatnot, is Cedric, the mixer. Cedric, how's life? How's it going? Cedric.
Whoops. Oh, there you go.
There
now
he is.
You
He's
can
back.
Hear me. There you go.
He's in there.
Sorry, there's a little bit of trouble traveling to space and back for some weird reason.
Exactly. So what do you think? Why do companies say such dumb things, in your opinion?
You know, I think as maybe it's as a culture, as a people, our like reading comprehension is getting so bad. Like reading comprehension goes bad, so you can't write what you can't understand.
Oh man.
Right? Like I'm seeing people argue on Facebook, and it's like, you guys are not talking about the same thing. Do you even read the other person's argument? And they just want to like talk.
They just want to talk. They don't want to listen.
Yeah.
They don't want to get the arrow from the sender to the receiver in the communications. They just want to get their arrow from the sender, and who gives a crap whether it gets to the sender or not.
Not only is it like not only is it like a two-way street, like that street, your clients or your audience to you is the most important street than you talking to them.
Oh, so true, man. Well, we're talking about the really dumb things that companies say, and that leads us very nicely into segment 2, where we're going to talk about who's winning and losing this week. So let's tee them up, shall we? Number one, let's talk about Facebook. So a story came out this week that said that as Facebook continues its shift, now Instagram emerges as a new home for brands. So basically, it basically talked about how Instagram is this great new place, and they added 100 million users in just the last 5 months, and they rival Facebook's growth numbers, and now they have 800 million monthly users, those kind of things. So I guess the first thing I want to say there is everybody is aware that Instagram is owned by Facebook, right? I mean, so it's like if you say it's like right Twix and left Twix factory. It's like, well, I don't like what the right Twix factory did, so I'm going to go over to left Twix. It's like they're owned by the same company, just so you know. So I don't know. Maybe right Twix, left Twix was a bad example. I may just be hungry and want a Twix bar. We don't know. But I'm just saying that, brands saying, okay, well, Facebook's not a good place for us anymore. We're going to go over to Instagram. It's like, well, those are the same people. That's the same company, it's run by the same people, and by the way, just while we're talking, if everybody's bailing out of Facebook because of data privacy kind of things, the same care with your data that was taken at Facebook, the equal amount of care is being taken at Instagram with your data, which is no care, zero care about your data. So you're not escaping anywhere. You're just kind of going to their other brand, that they got going on. So anyway, I wanted to throw that out there, but because there's a lot of discussion about that. People asked me, they said, are you going to leave for your clients and leave on Instagram? It's like, they do two different things too. Facebook, Facebook has the ability to tell different kinds of stories. Instagram is really pretty much just exclusively about photos and a little bit of video, but quite a bit about showing, visual, it's a, big photo album, for lack of a better word. So, it's kind of hard to compare them, in the same breath. But speaking of Facebook, and we were talking about them just a minute ago, Facebook now estimates that 87 million users were affected by its data breach. And so we're going to put them still firmly in losing for 87 million members. Their data was improperly shared with Cambridge Analytica. And that was significantly higher than their previous estimates of around 50 million people. And so these people reside mostly in the U.S., and the information of these U.S. users was shared with Cambridge Analytica, until they got busted doing it. And now, of course, there's the no apology tour and sort of all those kind of things going on. But anyway, we're going to put Facebook still firmly in losing. Lots of people bailing out of Facebook, for that and other reasons. Who's winning to me is Sergio Garcia. I don't know if you saw this or not, but he's playing one hole of the Masters here, right? And he's at the on the 15th hole, and this almost never happens in professional golf, but it always happens to me, and so I wanted to throw it out there. I think the guy's winning. I got to say, he hit 5 consecutive balls into the water on the 15th hole. 4 of them from almost the exact same spot after he took his drop. Oh man. And it's like, that's just like, if you ever saw the movie Tin Cup, I mean, that's going full Tin Cup right there. You're fully committed. You're like, damn it, I'm going to make it over the water this time. We all feel for Sergio Garcia. I consider this to be winning because it takes a lot of guts you're in this huge stage, and he doesn't knock 1 into the water. He doesn't knock 2. He knocks 5 balls into the water on the 15th hole. Congratulations, Sergio. I mean, that's how you win fans, because now you're approachable to me. I mean, it's like that was awesome. I got to say, if you haven't seen the video of this, you have not done yourself justice this week. You must go look at the Sergio Garcia going full 10 cup at the Masters this week, knocking 5 balls right into the water. That was lovely. Winning. Nothing but winning there, got to say, folks. You know what else is winning is there's a new book out called The Definitive Field Guide to Animal Flatulence by a couple of doctors. And the title is called Does It Fart? And basically, it answers the question, do grizzly bears, dogs, cockroaches pass gas? Do sea anemones? Do they? Does a spider pass gas? Now that's interesting, man. I mean, that's a way to make science interesting. I got to say, if it was anything else, would you read it or not? But come on, as I'm talking, you're a little bit interested about what different animals may or may not pass gas. I got to say, it's fascinating stuff. I put that in winning. I think that is outside the box thinking in science. I mean, usually when they do outside the box thinking, we're all really scared, like AI and kind of stuff like that. But that's a book that I would check out. I think it's interesting. And if it's at the library, I would definitely check it out. Librarian gives you that look over her glasses like, oh, jeez, where's this? Where did this guy come from? That kind of thing. But they call it a lighthearted way to learn a lot of cool stuff that you might have not known about animals. And they have other stuff in there besides just that, obviously. Anyway, check it out. I say winning. I'm going to put that in the winning category. Spotify, I would say winning, by the way. By the way, so the world's top-selling music streaming service, just a little bit shy of good old your friend and theirs, Apple Music, expects their revenue to grow 20 to 30% this year as the Swedish company releases figures, and it's geared up for this highly anticipated stock market listing that's coming up next week. It's kind of interesting because Spotify and Apple Music have really helped the United States music industry stem its growth slide, and which is interesting, right? You see that these things are profitable now because they're finally listening to the customer. I would submit to you, by the way, that the reason that the music industry had such a growth slump was the fact that it was pushing a product into the marketplace that people really didn't want. People really didn't want albums with 9 marginal songs and 2 hit songs. They didn't want that. And they said that for years. And the music industry said, well, no, what you really want is albums. Here you go. And then they said, nah, we'll just get the tracks that we need. And then they said, well, now since we're already getting just tracks, let's just pirate them and get them for free. But it does make sense. I'm an Apple Music subscriber, by the way. I love Apple Music. It is one of the most useful services I have. I don't mind paying $10 a month. I have access to 65 million tracks. Just take the time of, if you had to load in, additional songs, or you had to download songs, or you had to make storage available for songs, or you had to do all that kind of stuff. The cloud is actually very perfect for for this kind of interaction, right? And for the music industry, if they can get all of us, paying a reasonable fee for streaming music, then they're getting their cut. Their artists are getting their cut. Obviously, blockchain makes that even stronger when they can kind of follow these contracts, all the way. And you can, I think people want to legitimately pay artists for what they're doing, but make no mistake that consumers want what they want, and they're not going to listen to any industry that tells them they're not going to get it. The lesson that you should take from the music industry here is that the customer not only is always right, but will always win. The customer will always get what they want, and they will find a way to disrupt you on the way there. It does not matter. If this is why I'm always so important. It's so important in marketing that you make your message about the customer's needs and not about your own BS, because the customer only cares about themselves. They only care about what they want, when they want, what they want, exactly the way they want it. And the companies that are lucky enough to intersect their, Venn diagram in with what the audience wants, then that's the lucky company that's going to profit from it. And the company that doesn't and says, "Oh, well, we're the music industry, and we just won't make any more music," and they say, "Well, screw you. We'll just go with local artists then." It's like, just like we talked about earlier with Henry Juskowitz, it's like you're not going to get away with blaming the customer. You're not going to get away with saying that it is everybody's job to keep up with the customer, to listen and respond. And if you do a bad job of listening and responding, your ass is going to go out of business. Just so you know. That's the hard, cold reality of how it goes, and that's how it's going to go. That's I got 100% certainty that says it's going to go that way. But kudos to Spotify, kudos to Apple Music, but kudos to Spotify, especially as it approaches this really interesting IPO next week, and the fact that it's been able to really change things for a lot of artists as well. I'm worried about the youth. Obviously there's a lot of things that could be said about this generation, but one thing that is just unavoidable to me is the fact that, especially this kind of the younger side of the millennial folks, is that they're really bored. They are looking for ways to injure themselves in order to entertain themselves by, some people, eating Tide Pods and filming it and this kind of thing. And a new one, they said, it's the bug spray challenge, and they try to eat bug spray. Don't eat bug spray. Bug spray kills things. That's what it's designed to do. They work in a laboratory, and they see, and they enhance the killing potential. It has one purpose. It's designed to kill. If you ingest bug spray, you're going to be sick a lot. So, that's stupid. That makes no sense at all. And this other thing, that I saw a lot of stories on this week about the condom snorting thing, where teenagers and preteens are snorting condoms up their nose and then pulling them out their mouth, for on video. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. As the wonderfully written Gizmodo article that basically says, it says, here are the things that you should be snorting up your nose. Air. Number one, air. And number two, the only possible other thing that should be going up your nose would be like a medication, like a nasal spray kind of thing. But really just air. Really just the air. The air is what you want going up your nose. And you kids out there, you seem bored to me. You seem really bored because you know, and if you're bored, don't hurt yourself as entertainment. That's not good, right? Or others or anything else. Outside, you know, there's a lot of things to do outside, to be honest. You could go outside, get a ball, you know, play catch with a ball or something. Summer's coming up. You can swim. You know, you could definitely swim. Put down the device. Don't do the challenges, the various challenges. That's not good. Darwin would be in favor of the challenges because it proves, you know, his laws very, very well. But don't do that stuff. That's not cool. A new study came out that said that most YouTube influencers still aren't disclosing their sponsored deals. It's been about a year since the FTC warned social media influencers they should be clearly and conspicuously disclosing if they're being paid for a post or video. But according to a new Princeton University research, most YouTube and Pinterest influencers still don't add proper disclaimers to content they produce. This is nothing but bad, man. This is nothing but bad. If you're a marketer and you're looking into influencer marketing, you want to watch this really, really closely because the FTC is coming. They are absolutely coming. They dropped the guidelines, and now they're going to start to do what all government organizations live to do, regulate and fine companies. And they're not going to fine and regulate the YouTube influencer. Who are they going to go after? Who's easier to go after? Is it easier to go after the influencer or is it easier to go after the brand? The brand, right? Yeah, always the brand. They're going to come after you. They're absolutely going to be coming. And so be careful. Be very, very, very careful. Make sure that you understand all the things that are going on with influencer marketing. I did a whole show on influencer marketing. I've mentioned it on several other shows. Just look for influencer marketing in the title. You'll see it. Just be very, very aware that these people are about to be on the very serious losing side of things because the FTC is going to regulate it. They're also going to go to YouTube, you know, and they're also going to start making YouTube be the police on these videos as well. YouTube certainly doesn't want to be, but guess what? They're going to have to be because the FTC, you know, has just about no sense of humor on these kind of things. So, influencer marketing, probably losing this week. You definitely be watching that. That's who's winning and losing this week. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. Come on back. I'm going to give you some tips for saying smart things and staying and avoiding saying stupid things.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host, guy that just did Winning and Losing. Got Cedric with us. Cedric, what did you like from the Winning and Losing this week?
I think Darwin was onto something, and I think he realized that condoms are multi-purpose in protecting the gene pool.
That's a deep statement. That's a deep statement. I like that.
I had time to think about that one.
Dude, I'll tell you, that is what's in your opinion?
Oh man,
I mean, you're a younger dude.
Yeah.
You know, what the hell is wrong with people younger than you and these challenges that they have to keep doing? What the hell's going on there?
I think it's weird because this is the first generation that's grown up completely with the internet, right? Because I still remember playing outside, like
there you go.
When the internet came out, it was like dial-up, like net zero was the thing, like you couldn't make phone calls, like when someone picked up the phone, like your ears died.
There you go.
So I think it's interesting that you're growing up in your adolescent self, but now you have the whole world to be watching you, and that's weird. Like, if I would not be comfortable like having the whole world broadcast like my childhood,
No,
but that's exactly what's happening, and they don't know any better because they're still kids.
So it's like attention, and they're like, I can get more attention if I eat the Tide Pod
a
and
little
live,
bit, yeah.
Then I can get the attention.
But it's also like, when you're young, we would do stupid shit like climb that tree with, but it was like the only person that saw it was your like group of friends that was also trying to climb the tree. So. But now it's like the whole world is watching.
Coming soon, the tree climbing challenge.
Right?
Can you climb the climb the tree and jump off?
We conquered that.
Exactly.
That's old news.
Climb the tree 20 feet up and then fall down and see if you can survive it.
Yep.
It's like you can, spoiler alert,
on a global
scale. You can't survive it. Spoiler alert. That's what it looks like. Well, that's all fun and games. That's who's winning and losing this week. This whole show we've been talking, this is episode 83 of the show. We've been talking about the really, really dumb things that companies say. And I like to end this segment. I like to end the show with segment 3 here. I always like to give you guys a little bit of, my thoughts, a little bit of, education. And so these are my top tips for not sounding like that. Like the press release that we read earlier with the New Bay and Future thing. And, the Planned Parenthood, debacle, the sorry, not sorry things from United Airlines, Wells Fargo, all of those things can be avoided if you just follow a few pretty simple rules. And they are, number one, always think about the audience first. Always think about the audience first. If you're thinking about the audience first, you're not writing sentences like our global trajectory. And, even if the audience is your shareholders or whatever, they don't even understand that, by the way. So it's think about the audience and what do we want them to take away from this? It's actually kind of the first the first thought that you should have in any sort of communications operation, right? I speak all the time about the importance of having the right messaging when you go out. It's not just about, a million different tactics to deliver any message into the marketplace. It's about creating exactly the right message, exactly the message that's going to, create the right amount of takeaways and create the relationship that you're trying to create with whoever it is you're communicating with. Always think about the audience first. If you take that step and you think about them first, then you will not write like that. You will not do that. You will not, it will interrupt. All of the stupid gets interrupted when you think. And when you think about the audience, you have a lot better shot at being able to do that. So again, really, really important to always make it about the audience. And as easy as that sounds, I have people all the time that come to me in networking groups and everything else, and they say, "Well, Scott, that sounds really easy. Just make the message all about the audience. That sounds very easy." And then I say, I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds super easy. It sounds like it'd be the easiest thing in the world to do. It's almost never done by anyone at any time, because we as human beings like to make, the talking that's coming out of our mouths about us, and we could honestly give a crap about everybody else. And it's sort of fighting against that instinct. If you don't believe me, go to any website, really, almost any website that you can name, and if they're talking about themselves, and I mean, I got to say, they are, then it's probably not in the context. It's probably not even using count the number of personal pronouns, about that are self-directed versus the personal pronouns that are audience-directed in every sentence. Count those. Let me know, and send me an email. Let me know what you think. Let me know what category you chose. I would love to be wrong about this, but I'm not. Because I do it for a living and I see it all the time. And, my dad was a dentist for 45 years, in Missouri. And he used to tell me that he solved a lot of the same problems for different people all the time, but a lot of the same problems. And he got really good at the end, especially at the end of his career, about sort of being able to tell what the problem was before he even examined people, right? When you reach sort of that level of dentistry mastery, I guess. Well, I am at that level in my career because I can tell you what's wrong before people even start talking to me. The message is wrong. Just so you know, it's always wrong. It's always broken. It always needs help. Fix it before you start talking. Very, very important. Number 2, realize that you don't always have to talk or respond to everything. I know, it's amazing. But, events can go by, if things can happen, all sorts of things can happen, and you and your brand do not have to be personally involved in all of it. You really don't. I tell companies, they say, "Oh, well, is it wise for us to get in and talk about, current events?" If it's relevant to them, if you can help people by your commentary on what's going on with current events, then sure, then it makes sense. If it's not good for them, and then it's not good for you by extension, because you're about doing things that are good for them, then realize that you don't have to talk or respond to everything. It's just really, really important to pick your shots, and when in doubt, and I tell my clients this all the time, if there's any doubt at all, don't. It's always better to be silent than to talk when you're unsure of the outcome. All the things that we talked about in the first segment could have been avoided if people would have just resisted the urge to talk and maybe been silent about it. In the case of the press release with all the jargon and the BS words and all that kind of stuff, that can be eliminated by simply making a decision that says we're going to write something that people are going to understand. And we're going to write something that is good and that people get and know what it is that we're talking about. And we don't have to sound impressive. We don't have to sound, big and highfalutin and all those kind of things. It's like, you don't need to sound that way. Just be clear. Clear as a winner. Be clear. On that subject, my number 3 tip for speaking in the smart way is eliminate all jargon. And this is really hard to do in the technology space, in the music space. There's a lot of stuff. Jargon brings communities closer together. In a lot of ways. We have a shared understanding of something that only our little club understands. We understand. Music has a ton of them. The music industry has a ton of things. Resist the urge to use your jargon because you're alienating people. And if you are going to use jargon, if you're going to use it because it does make a point, then, put some parentheses after that and explain what it is that you just said for someone else that maybe isn't as gifted as you are with your wonderful understanding of all these things. When you think about the purpose of communications, sender, receiver, arrow, sender, arrow, message, receiver, right? When you think about those things, then jargon, it just gets in the way. It makes the arrow, flop down to the ground. It makes the arrow fly off fly off somewhere. It makes the arrow not hit the target. And then we're firmly in the category of, well, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing if you're not, if you're communicating, eliminate your jargon. If you feel like you're too close to it, and that can happen, man, believe me, when you're working inside an organization and everybody's got the same understanding of everything and you can just kind of speak in your, quick sentences and quick code and everything else. But be careful when you open that up to a larger audience, and always be able to, try to, have a focus group of some kind outside that maybe they can help you eliminate that jargon. Whatever it takes, we'll get into that in a second, but eliminate that jargon. Make that a rule of yours. Make sure that you're not going to speak in that. And also look for any words that are like buzzwords or trite words like solutions and global trajectory and disruption and all that kind of stuff. Just talk to people. Just talk to people. I'm one of the best writers you're ever going to meet. And the reason people like my stuff is it's straight, baby. It is straight as an arrow. Ironically enough, it's straight as the communications arrow, right? You're always going to do better being clear, than trying to be clever or trying to sound smart or trying to sound bigger and more important than you may actually be. Number 4, big one for corporate apologies. A lot of people have to do corporate apologies these days. It's really, there's a new one in the news about every week. Do not apologize unless you really mean it. And unless you're really going to change things. Be very careful with apologies. Some of the biggest missteps and brand destruction that I've seen out there come not from doing something stupid, but from apologizing for doing something stupid. And the apology is awful. The apology is awful, right? Think about it interpersonally for a minute. What is the purpose of an apology? The purpose of the apology in an interpersonal circumstance is to mend the relationship. You're trying, you've got a rift, you've got a break in the relationship, you're going to try to mend the relationship with the apology. What mends the relationship? Basically, an admission that something bad happened. Taking responsibility for exactly what happened. the taking of responsibility. I can point to you so many different corporate apologies where it's here's all the reasons why it happened, but it wasn't our fault. I mean, look at Apple's with the batteries, for God's sake. They actually doubled down on the corporate apology and said that it was some kind of hidden efficiency mode that we went into. It's like, it was not. It was the fact that, the batteries didn't last as long as you thought they were going to last. You didn't know people were going to hang on to the phone for that long. Your data was wrong, all these kind of things. None of that stuff that you wanted to admit. And, and we all know it's true. That's why you gave the batteries to everybody for $29. No one is stupid here, except for the people eating Tide Pods. Those people, you probably blow that stuff by them all day long. But for the rest of us here in the audience, we don't believe about the efficiency mode and the hidden. Sorry that the phones were so smart that they went into a special efficiency mode. Then they started shutting. Shut up. Don't take your audience for a bunch of fools. All right. The problem with that kind of apology is we know it's crap. You know it's crap, and then it ends up being crap, and it weakens brand trust over time. Over time, I mean, certainly Samsung has been capitalizing on the fact that Apple's had its own battery issues. Of course, Samsung, let's be honest, not the company with the greatest track record when it comes to, batteries and that sort of thing. But getting back to the rule, don't apologize one more time unless you really mean it, unless you're really going to change things. Be very, very careful. Always be very, very careful with your apologies. And number 5, run things by people you trust before you say them publicly. This is really important. Could be your spouse, could be your grandmother, could be a family pet. We don't know. But I'm just saying, run it by someone else, because sometimes those people can really help you and go, global trajectory? I'm not sure what you meant by that. What are you just making up words now? I mean, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. So they can help keep us honest. So have a group of people that you can trust. I've got a group of people today that work in communications that I run things by and go, does this sound too, I don't know, smoky or whatever, that kind of thing. And people will bounce back to you and they'll let you know, and you do the same thing for them. What have we learned today, folks? We've learned that there is a whole lot of stupid in the world, but contrary to popular belief and some T-shirt slogans, this stupid can be fixed. Remember, you can do the best job of branding in the world, and you can have it all screwed up in an afternoon with one dumb statement like, we need to have, a Disney princess that had an abortion or something. And that's why communications needs to be treated like a double-edged sword. It can cut for you, but it can also cut you. So you be careful out there. That's it for me, marketing fans. Until next week, this has been Scott Robertson, host of May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media. Have a great weekend and rock on. See ya. You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Entertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?